This is a video that introduces nouns. For our purposes, we're going to look at just what you need to know about nouns. There's a whole lot to be said, but we're going to deal with only what you need to know about nouns. So what is it that you need to know about nouns? Well, for starters, you need to know the definition. You need to know what a noun is. You need to know what its function is, what it does in a sentence. You need to know when to capitalize it. This is something that's actually very much based on convention, and so it's very, very important to be aware of the conventions. This is not information that you will have intuitively. You need to know when to think about how many versus how much. That is the difference between count and non-count nouns. And there are some cases of plurals that behave very, very strangely, so it's important to know about those odd plurals. So, starting with the definition. There are a lot of different definitions of nouns, but since we're focusing only on what you need to know, the name of a person, place, thing, activity, or concept will do us just fine. So the name of a person, like Sheila, the name of a place, like Pittsburgh, and in case you're looking at that and wondering if it's misspelled, no, there are many different cities named Pittsburgh, and they aren't all spelled the same way. You might be thinking of a somewhat more famous one. There's other places called Pittsburgh. So that's a place, a thing like a table, an activity like rescue, or a concept like sincerity. And that takes care of the definition. Now on to function. The noun is the head of a noun phrase. And again, noun phrases have a lot of different functions in a sentence, so it's important to know about them. The noun phrase consists of a head noun plus its modifiers, the things that modify that head noun and the things that modify those modifiers, and so on and so on. Noun phrases serve as subjects of clauses, that is, subjects of sentences. They are objects of verbs and prepositions. They can be in apposition. They have all kinds of functions in the sentence, and they are very important. Let's take an example. The large greenhouse on the corner is becoming an eyesore. Now, there is a basic sentence. The sentence is about the large greenhouse on the corner. That is the subject of the sentence. The phrase, the large greenhouse on the corner, is about the house. Everything else in that phrase modifies the house in some way. Green tells what color it is, large gives its size. The is a definite article and indicates that this is a house that is known, as opposed to a large greenhouse on the corner, which would mean we didn't know about it already. On the corner is a prepositional phrase giving the location of the house. So, the noun phrase is a head noun and all its modifiers. In the large greenhouse on the corner, house is the head noun. Everything modifies house. However, in that prepositional phrase that I just referred to, the corner is the object. Corner is the head noun of the noun phrase, the corner. Take another noun phrase, the latest issue. Latest is an adjective modifying issue. The, of course, is the definite article. Here's another one, the increase in crimes. Now, increase is the head noun there. In crimes is a prepositional phrase modifying increase, telling what kind of increase it is. And in a sentence, the verb needs to match the head noun, not the noun in the prepositional phrase, as in this case. It may look a little odd to see crimes right next to a singular verb, is worrying, but in fact, crimes is the object of the preposition in. It's going to have no effect on the verb. The verb needs to match the form of increase. Increase is singular, so its increase is worrying. Area businesses. By the way, there was a Diamondback headline, increase in crimes worry area businesses, where apparently somebody looked at the word crimes that was right next to the verb, and made the verb plural to match crimes, which was incorrect, of course, because increase is the head noun and is therefore the thing with which is worrying ought to agree, or with which the verb, whatever it is, ought to agree. So, here's another example. The nominee has withdrawn his name as criticism of his business record and character raises doubts that he could be confirmed. Now, we have the subject of the sentence, the nominee, the verb has withdrawn, and then the object is his name. But here we have the subordinate clause that's kind of interesting. As criticism of his business record and character raises doubts that he could be confirmed. So let's take a look at that subordinate clause. The subject is criticism of his business record and character. Now you might look at business record and character and say, why is that next to a singular verb, raises? Because those are two nouns, X and Y. But in fact, they are the objects of the preposition of. The head noun is criticism, so it's criticism raises doubts. This is one reason it's really important to be able to find the head noun, because that will tell you if the noun phrase is a subject noun phrase, that will tell you what the verb must agree with. So, to summarize, a noun phrase is a head noun with all its modifiers and the modifiers of those modifiers and so on. Noun phrases have a number of different functions in the sentence: subject, object, object of preposition, etc. It's important to be able to identify the head noun in a noun phrase, as in the case of the increase in crime, so that you can correctly make your verb agree with the head noun and not with some other noun in the noun phrase. And why do you need to know? Well, you need to know because structure is important. You also need to know because that head noun will determine the form of the verb. As we showed in our example, the increase in crimes is worrying area businesses, and of course, criticism, the head noun, of his business record and character raises doubts that he could be confirmed. So, that is the definition and a basic introduction to function. And that's the end of this video.